I've got it in his third pick. We then get to 5, Bria Bella. She's only got the one win from 16 starts to her career, and that win came at Balaclava in a 2,200-metre maiden back in April. Look, this campaign, her last run was probably her best, went fourth behind Jackson Cracker, that same race that the Red Sea and Baldy came out of. So, yeah, look, the market giving her a chance. She's probably going to go around about equal third pick here. 6 is Ever Onward, one trained locally here by Matt Sayers. His only win was at Penola Maiden back in February over 1,400 metres. Another one to come out of that Jackson Cracker race. He ran 8th that day. Was spec'd in the market that day, 50s into 30s. But today you're being asked to take a lot shorter odds. And look, I thought at best maybe a place chance. 7, Jaffiel's a long-term maiden, 34 starts, 15 minor placings. But I must say, it's only had the 2 runs here in SA for Barry Brook, and they've both been good. 7th at Gawler first up. It ran okay that day, only beaten 4 lengths. And then last start here at Murray Bridge over 1,800 metres. It was a maiden, though, that day, and obviously it is up in grade here today. Seminoles, it ran in the heat of the Jericho at Gawler last Friday on Gawler Cup Day. Actually led them up there in that race, won by the favourite Raise You 10. Obviously coming back in trip today, it's going to be in its favour. Last start, 3,340 metres. It would have found that a bit tough. And then Knee Slapper, number 9. Well, it's like Jaffiel. It's a long-time maiden. It's had 19 goes. It's only got the 1 placing to its credit. I reckon it could win a week distance maiden somewhere shortly, but I would be shocked if it could win this here today. It's going to go around the outsider. As I said, I'm going with 1, Baldy, to upset the favourite, number 3, the Red Sea. Then I went 4, Lolly Lucas, and 5, Bria Bella. 1, 3, 4 and 5. Brett sticking fat with the favourite, the Red Sea. Here he is, race 5, Murray Bridge.
Interesting race as they move into the gates at the 2,500 metres for the Spying on You Murray Bridge Race Club Achievement Award winner handicap. This is also Heat 10 of the Skybow Series, and the Red Sea is the favourite, but drifting. Very close to a start now with Baldy to come forward and Joe Field. So 2,500 metres, the Red Sea expected to lead, and lead most of the way, if not all the way, according to the betting. There's the light, gates open, racing, and the Red Sea stepped away nicely. Ever Onward, Lolly Lucas, Seminoles deeper out, Baldy, Bria Bella nearer the inside. Seminoles, he had a crack for the lead in the heat of the Jericho Cup mid-race last start. He's up there today, outside of the Red Sea, just getting into him a little bit. With a circuit to run, the Red Sea will find the top, lead by a half. Seminoles is right there, getting in his ear and just keeping him aware. There are a couple of lengths then on Ever Onward, who settled third on the outside of Bria Bella. Baldy's got into a good trailing spot. A length and a half third last, Knee Slapper from Lolly Lucas, and the grey Joe Field, who was spec'd from $8 into around $5.50, has settled at the rear end. So the Red Sea, the favourite in the race, shows the way by a half a length, but still Seminoles is right there, breathing into his ear. 2 lengths further back, Ever Onward, outside of Bria Bella. 2 to Baldy, who's getting the gun run in the race with cover on his Pat Malone. 2 to Knee Slapper, Lolly Lucas, and Joe Field still last of all as they reach the 1,400 metres. 10 lengths from top to bottom, and the Red Sea is not getting it his own way. He's got Seminoles there just pestering away quietly, and the pair are separated by half a length. The Red Sea from Seminoles. 2 further back, Ever Onward, third the outside of Bria Bella. She's had every chance. 2.5 to Baldy, likewise, had every chance in the run from Knee Slapper. Lolly Lucas and Joe Field still last of all. So they've gone inside the 1,000 now. And Seminoles again, creeping closer. This time he gets into his face, the Red Sea. And the Red Sea joined by Seminoles. They're 2 lengths on Ever Onward and Bria Bella, who are stalking, racing up to the bend. 2.5 back to Baldy. Knee Slapper's the first to feel pressure. Lolly Lucas and Joe Field. Seminoles outside of the Red Sea, who's now being hard ridden by Hurdle, and Seminoles has taken over. The Red Sea looks gone. Seminoles dashed to the lead. He ran a big race in a heat of the Jericho Cup last start, 3,300. So he he should find the line okay, although he wobbled as I spoke, and Ever Onward and Baldy start ranging up to join him. Then Joe Phil joining in wider out. Joe Phil and Baldy, they've gone up to Seminoles, who's again got his action going nicely, but Baldy's been racing in fabulous form. He's hit the lead. Joe Phil, Seminoles, Knee Slapper and Lolly Lucas, but the top weight will win Baldy. Baldy from Joe Phil, Lolly Lucas, Knee Slapper. Seminoles just tired the last 100. 3 lengths further back to Ever Onward. The Red Sea was softened up on the lead. Briabella had every chance. She ran last.
As I said, Peter Nolan's got this horse going really well. He's done a good job at the horse full stop. It had won one race in Victoria before it came here, a 2,200 metre maiden at stall with Michael Walker aboard. It's been great to have Michael as part of the Racing.com team through the Spring Carnival. But this horse, since coming to SA, and in particular this campaign, and look, that's his most important win to date. His previous wins here for Pete have been 2 at Port Augusta, and he did win the Jamestown Cup, which would have been a big thrill for Felicity Atkinson. She's been aboard this horse for all of those wins, and really it was a pretty soft watch, and he got out to reasonable odds once again at the jump away. So he's been able to score. Jafeel, long-term maiden, but it's 3 runs here in SA. Certainly have been good for Barry Brook. Lolly Lucas went better today. And as I said, Knee Slapper, I reckon, like Jafeel, a long-term maiden, but he might be able to pinch a weak distance maiden somewhere shortly. The Red Sea, that run was too bad to be true. Seminoles, as Brett was saying in the call, was sort of pestering him the whole way, but he's dropped out and only beaten 1 home. But Baldy salutes here. Good on him. Race number 5. 1, 7, 4 and 9. That's after race number 5 at Murray Bridge. Our distance event today, but the big distance event anywhere today, is the Bendigo Cup. And we're heading back to Bendigo as we continue the build-up.
The Bendigo Cup, a century of tradition, continues at the Nursery of Champions. Puissance de Lune had the field covered a long way from home in 2012. Bossy celebrating well before the line. In 2016 and 17, Godolphin's Charlie Appleby made the cup his own, with Francis of Assisi, followed by Kiwi, who scored after a titanic stretch struggle with Kawaya.
Kiwi just in front. Kawaya, the outsider's trying his life out. Kiwi just. Kawaya gets to a neck, but Kiwi wins it. Godolphin go back to back.
Red Alto's boil over in 2018 was so beloved by the locals, they named a bar after him at the One Tree Hill pub. And Princess Jenny lobbed with a bob in 2020 to land a blow for the girls.
In front, Pondus is coming on the outside, but Princess Jenny wins the Abbey and Bendigo Cup.
This is one of the great country cups of spring.
It is one of the great country cups. It's one of the great races of the spring, and despite the fact that we've got no crowds here, a great field assembled for this year's edition. A new name will etch themselves onto the honour roll, and we pay due respect to a great race. We get the national anthem performed by local artists, Sam and Sam.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our lands abound in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, advance Australia fair.
This market update is brought to you by Bet365.
The scene is set for the 2021 APM Bendigo Cup Group 3 $400,000 2,400 metre contest. Plenty on the line. It's the Mara and Eustace stable that hold the Aces. Smokin' Romans, our $2.60 favourite, well backed. The horse to beat Turidan at $5.50, the stablemate. Plenty on the line for a Maid, the top weight. He needs to run top 3 to get a start in the Melbourne Cup. He's at $6. Wentwood, the country horse of the year, at $8. Double figures. The remainder, Mosh Music, the best of those. And if you are having a wager with Bet365, extra incentive to do so, because races 7, 8 and 9, so including this cup race, have a bet and get up to $50 back in bet credits. If your runner doesn't win, but runs second or third, the Bet365 racing refund. Let's have a look at the cup runners in the mounting yard. Ahead of the Bendigo, big one.
This mounting yard is brought to you by Sony. Moving tomorrow, today.
Top weight, and one of the key chances, Hutch, is a Maid, as we've touched upon several times. He doesn't need to win. He needs to run top 3 to pass the first ballot clause for the Melbourne Cup and basically assure himself a start next Tuesday.
You'd like to do it in good style, though, wouldn't you? You would like to come out and put a statement out there, and it's I suppose, comfort for them that they can just run top 3. But the key for him, following that Geelong Cup run, will just to be get out on terms. It was a terrific run and defeat, and he's a big player here if he does that.
Nick, you've seen a bit of him. How does he look today?
Fittest he's looked this preparation. He's a big, big boy, so he's obviously taken a couple of runs to get there. It's D-Day for a Maid here this afternoon, guys, but this is the best I've seen him look.
Another horse that's still in Melbourne Cup calculations is the 2 Mosh Music for Archie Alexander. She's 25th in the order of entry, so she might get a run regardless, but a win and a penalty would definitely help.
Well, they're changing around the gear with her a little bit today. She's got a couple of little minor differences there. Which might well help her. She does need to, I think, improve on her recent efforts. She's better than what we've seen this preparation, and whether she just hasn't come up or not, I'm not sure. Whether she's not up to the grade.
I thought she was a little burly in the naturalism, improved again into the Bart Cummings, and I'm pleased to report she's improved again here today, guys.
The 3 is Wentwood, the reigning country horse of the year. He loves these country cups. Can he win another one for Matty Raymond and today Harry Coffey?
Yes, he can. He was very good last start. He settled nicely and closed off really well, I thought, in the Coonji. And I think drawing where he has today is a real plus for him, because if he gets that cover early, he will relax, and that'll ensure that he can finish off nicely. He's in there with each way claims, and would not be surprised to see him salute.
Here's another one that's just tightened up since the last time I saw him. That was 2 starts ago. Didn't see him in the Coonji, so I can't comment as to how he's gone since that last time out. But he was nice and relaxed in the yard. He's just got a little bit fired up now with Harry Coffey climbing aboard.
The 4 is Actow. He's a Mornington Cup winner at his best. Is it fair to say he hasn't been at his best this campaign?
Talking about horses that haven't come up, he's way better than what we've seen. He's been running since the end of July, and I'm not sure what's happened with Actow. He looked highly promising, didn't he, in his first preparation? So let's hope they can get him back. But at the moment, hard to have.
Can't knock him on the way he looks, guys. He's presented well in the yard again. So another one that might be D-Day for Actow.
Can Linda Meach win a Bendigo Cup? She's aboard Turidan, who's another one that's still in Melbourne Cup contention but hasn't passed that first ballot clause.
Look, I was a bit disappointed with this run in the Herbert Power, which is probably a bit harsh, but perhaps, the Mara Eustace team thought, well, look, he'd had basically a month between runs. It was a good win at Flemington. Maybe they just backed off him a little bit, and maybe he'll strip a bit fit and be ready to rumble today. His form prior was excellent, and he showed a lot of tenacity in that win at Flemington, beating Luna Fleur, who's obviously won since.
He's hard fit. He's got a good coat on him. He had a nice little spring there in his step as he goes out onto the course with Meachy in the saddle.
The second of the OTI runners, this one for Archie Alexander and Declan Bates. Horse number 6, Parade.
Seems to be running the same sorts of races all the time. Back or midfield, keeping on, doing nothing quickly, sort of not enough to suck you in to follow the next time, but not enough to completely put a pen through either. So not for me at this point.
He came back this preparation in really good order with that second at Caulfield, first up over the mile. He's held his condition nicely. Again, he's been turned out in good order.
The 7 is Constantinople. He's a horse that came to Australia with some big raps. He was favoured in both a Caulfield Cup and a Melbourne Cup at one stage in his career. He's still chasing that first Australian win.
Yeah, well, coming to the mile and a half is a big plus, but maybe the slower run race didn't suit him in the Coonji, but still, is that the right form? Is he in the right form? I think big question marks.
Yeah, look, he looks okay for a horse that's a little bit out of form and at a big price. He certainly presents well in the yard, guys.
We move to our favourite Harcher horse that you gave an ice push for early in our preview, Smokin' Romans, John McNeil, riding for the Mara and Eustace camp. Probably doesn't bring some of the stakes form, but he brings super consistency, and he's our favourite.
He dropped 7 kilos on their effort behind Will John, and prior to that, it was just hard to fault. I mean, he was going through the grades sort of with some stellar performances, and they rated okay, and he's going to make his own luck up on speed, and he's just thriving. So he's with the stable that know what they're doing as far as these horses are concerned, and this might be his opportunity to win a Bendigo Cup.
He's presented in good order again. He's a nice athletic style of horse. He's held his condition quite well. He's getting fairly deep into a preparation, but as typical of the camp, they've kept him in really good order.
And if you like Smoking Romans, you probably have to give some consideration to Taramansour, who was about a length off him at Caulfield last start.
That's true. I was disappointed though in Taramansour. I liked it that day, JT, and I thought it had its opportunity just a little bit one pace. He had some nice wins during the winter on the synthetic, and then went to Swan Hill and won on a good 3. So there's no issue in terms of the ground, and the horse is good enough, the trip, etc. But I just wanted to see a bit more last time out.
Horses on the track for the feature. It's the $400,000 APM Bendigo Cup. Hutch, cometh the moment, cometh the man. Who wins the feature?
I think Smoking Romans, with some question marks around a few of them. He doesn't have too many. He can land on speed. He drops in weight. He's in good form. He's been pretty tough, and he might get his own way here. And Turidan and him might be able to control the tempo. Wentwood's going well, and I made no knock there. There's the class factor in the field.
Yeah, I've gone with the maid here, guys. Just a lot of the steady improvement we've seen from this big boy, this preparation, and he's tightened up nicely since I saw him 2 starts ago as well. So that 7-day back, I reckon he's going to relish it here this afternoon. So he goes on top. Moss Music's been an improver. Turidan's holding condition nicely. So too Smoking Romans. But for the Cup, it's a maid.
This market update is brought to you by Bet365.
Smoking Romans, the horse to beat, though, $2.50 with Bet365. He's been solid, right, throughout the morning and into the afternoon, in from $3 post-scratchings. The stablemate Turidan has been a bit easy, $4.60 out to $5.50. A Maid's holding his price at $6. Of course, we know what's on the line for him. And Wentwood, can he win another Country Cup? This will be the biggest of them, $7 out to $8.50. Double figures the rest. Smoking Romans looks like he'll start favourite in this year's Bendigo Cup.
Jack Turnbull, who represents the Mar Eustace camp, is going to talk to us about their 2-pronged attack in the feature event, the Bendigo Cup this afternoon. Let's start with the favourite, Smoking Romans. He's been a super consistent horse this preparation.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he had a bit of a breather before his last run, and he obviously performed really well, and we're extremely happy with the way he's come into today.
What's been the key to keeping him up this preparation?
He's primarily Ballarat, so we're just able to get him on the treadmill and work him on the various tracks the Ballarat Turf Club does possess, and he just seems to love it. He loves being in work, and shows in his racing.
He's not alone in that department either. Turidan's a bit of a war horse as well, another one that's had a fairly long preparation but continues to parade and race well.
Yeah, he started up well today. He's such a gentleman. He another one that loves being in work, and he floats more so towards Caulfield, and again, just in a good vein of form.
There's a host of horses for the team going into Saturday. I won't go through them all. Is there one that excites Jack Turnbull?
I do like Haitotsu. I think he's coming up really well. He's drawn a good gate. Obviously an extremely good jockey on board, and I like the way he's tracking into it.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Great to get the thoughts there of Jack Turnbull, of course, representing the Kieran Maher and David Eustace stable. They've got 2 key chances. We're seeing the performance of Turidan last start. He's, of course, on the second line of betting. Their favourite, Smoking Romans, who continues to shorten. Hutch now $2.40 with the Victorian official price. And I think you touched upon it earlier. It's our market mover. We know the record that Kieran Maher and David Eustace have with horses. Once they get up to this distance range, it makes for quite incredible reading.
Interesting with Smoking Romans over the winter months. He was sort of competing over much shorter, and he was a bit unlucky a couple of times over those distances. And now, after what's been quite an extended preparation, he's thriving and could potentially culminate with victory in the Bendigo Cup. What an effort that would be for a horse that's just continued to race so consistently, like a lot from the stable. But it's a bit tougher for him, isn't it? It's a tougher assignment today.
It's the biggest test of his career, but plenty of punters think he's up to it. Barrier 2, Jai McNeil, where's he going to get to? Is he going to be sort of right there behind the speed?
I think they both land 1. I mean, I think Turidan and him really control the speed. The only fly in the ointment could be Taramansour, but generally with Taramansour they've taken a set as well. So just in behind the speed. But this has got the recipe of a race that could be very steadily run for the first 2/3 and then just built, which is going to suit the Mar Eustace pair.
Very much looking forward to it. Unfortunately, we're down to the consolation prize, $5,000 consolation prize for the pick 7, and it looked as though that would be the case. We knew our fates early when the Billionaire got rolled in the first leg at $1.60. But this is the big one at Bendigo. It's a race that's been won last year by Princess Jenny, of course, a Group 1 winner. Top of the range, Willie Pike came across and got the job done 2 years ago. Red Alto for the locals in 2018. Godolphin won it with their Raiders in 2017 and 2016. Kiwi and Francis of Assisi, Sartorius, Puissance de Lune, Gallic. Some of the talented horses that have their name on the honour roll. Boys, final thoughts before we head to Rick?
Just remembering that ride from Willie Pike on Top of the Range. It's a good ride.
It was a good ride.
In the field. The Wizard from the West.
How did we not get that ride up for one of our promos coming in off one of the breaks?
Yeah, exactly. It was an absolute beauty. This is a different type of race, a lot bigger field there, smaller field here, and I'm expecting those on pace to dominate.
Nick, final thoughts?
Yeah, I think the two Mar Eustace horses dominate on speed, but I'm backing a maid despite the drift here. I think today's the day he peaks.
And there is so much on the line for a maid. Plenty on the line for a few of other these horses. Of course, still in calculations for the Lexus Melbourne Cup $8 million race next Tuesday. But the Bendigo Cup is our focus. Rick McIntosh, the boy from Bendigo, we hand it up to you to call the 2021 edition.
Thanks, James. Yeah, APM Bendigo Cup. APM born and bred out of Bendigo, of course. They employ over 200 experienced vets around the place and 63 bases countrywide. APM, or www.apm.com.au if you want to find out more. Interesting there that Jack said Smokin' Romans was trained out of Ballarat. He wouldn't mind that. Darren Weir actually bought him in the far south of New Zealand, one of the coldest places in this neck of the woods. And the Kelly boys and that own him, they're a terrific ownership group, and Mar Eustace have done a sensational job with him. 6 wins and 5 placings from his 16 starts. I think Linda will try and control this on Turaden. It's in the Jayco colours. They won the Cup with Puissance de Lune, G Boss, back in 2012, and he sponsored it more years than he's won it. He's trying to turn that around this year with Turaden, Mr. Jayco, and he'll run him in the Melbourne Cup if he wins. Having already had success with American and Prince of Penzance. Here we go for the APM Bendigo Cup, 2,400 metres. The 9 are off. Wentwood on the inside, the reigning country horse of the year, began only fairly. Smokin' Romans is out okay along with Actau, and Turaden and Taramansour are the two rolling forward. A maid's Melbourne Cup journey has taken a huge hit. He's missed the start by 20 lengths. Constantinople's working forward on the outside. Actau, Wentwood go for sits, and then Mosh Music. She's one of only 2 homebreds in this race. Next in the race was Berate and a maid. He would need to earn his spot on that first Tuesday in November, all right. He's had to do a stack just to tack onto the back of the field. Lucky for him, it's been a fairly leisurely tempo as they went over the crossing to the back past the 1800. And Linda takes Turaden to the lead in his favourite role. And she's going to try and stack and rack. Constantinople goes up to Racer on the outside. They're a length and a half in advance of Taramansour with the 1-1, and Wentwood's up into the box seat. Smokin' Romans, the raging favourite, back to 5th. 2 lengths to Berate, a perennial country cups winner of his own's on the inside of Actau. 2 to Moss Music, and a mate's tacked on. Past the 1,300 metres, they go down the back, and you can hear Linda's squeaky voice from here. She's tried to steady Constantinople the outside, and her ride Turaden, but in the end, she's going to let Constantinople drive over to the fence. Turaden second, Wentwood is third inside of Taramansour. Smokin' Romans getting a nice run 5th at the 1,000 metre mark. Berade's on the inside, followed by Actau. Then a maid. His Herculean journey has passed 1, and that's Mosh Music. They swing to the side in the Cup, and Constantinople ensuring a reasonable tempo. He's out by 3 lengths on Turaden, just niggle that. Wentwood is third, and they're opening up a little. Taramansour travels okay. Smokin' Romans tracks him. Berade's on the inside, and then came a maid pinching ground from Actau, and Moss Music is the last one. The Cup field about to come where they started from. 400 metres to go now. Constantinople's under siege from Turin. Taramansour's chiming in. The favourite Smokin' Romans is there at the right time. Coffee's angling a little run here on Wentwood. And the mate's got the audacity to run on with Parade. Wentwood's getting the run after Taramansour. Smokin' Romans flat the outside. Wentwood, Taramansour. Smokin' Romans is still coming. Wentwood on the outside. Taramansour and Smokin' Romans. Wentwood just in front. Wentwood does it for Coffee. He beat Smokin' Romans and Taramansour. Turin ran fourth and fifth in a maid. It was a Herculean effort. It doesn't seem just as he doesn't get to Tuesday. Then Constantinople, Parade, Mosh Music and Actow. He looks like he could be anything, but he's just not racing well. Wentwood's done it. Harry Coffey for Matty Raymond, the reigning country horse of the year. Werribee Cup and Terang Cup last year. By gee, she must love this horse. She knows how to get him right. He was in the box seat. He needed some tempo at some stage in the race, and Constantinople provided it. And Coffey has given that a gun. 2 for the day for him, having won on a $41 pop earlier. You can't do any more than show how good you are on these big days. Wentwood, Matty Raymond. Well, she's good. She's only been training a couple of years, and she just keeps clocking up feature race wins. 3, 8, 9 and 5. Well done to the owners of Wentwood. Another country success for the Davies family. Poor Moy out of a Dan Silly mare. A 7-year-old. He looks like he's hard to train, but she makes it look easy. Matty Raymond at Warrnambool. Harry Coffey. 8 has run second. Smokin' Romans, Jai McNeil. Harry's good mate runs second for Mara Eustace. 9, Taramansour, Matt Kamani and Fred Kersley runs third. 5, Turin back in fourth. A maid was a Herculean run, running fifth. The margins were a short head by a half neck. 2:27.90 was the time. He started 8:50. He didn't have too many friends, but he got the money. I reckon it's going to be a good little 5 minutes coming up. JT will do justice to us. Let's get to him firstly with the winning trainer, Matty Raymond.
Oh, Rick, looking forward to these couple of interviews. Matty, what a ripper, what a horse.
He's just so tough, and he's come so far in 12 months. It was nearly 12 months ago that he won the St Arnaud Cup, and that was a sigh of relief. So to get here today and win this race and see how well he's relaxing, and that's a huge achievement from the whole team at home.
Racing such an emotional roller coaster. What was going through your head and through your heart throughout that race?
I just wanted to see him relax. Obviously, Barrier 1 was a bit of a question. He likes a bit of room, but like I said, he's come a long way. Harry gave him the perfect ride. The key to him is just to get him to switch off, which he did today. There was a few moments there where they steadied, and I thought we might have been in a bit of trouble, and I'm sure Harry will be have worked for that one today. But huge result for great owners and great for the stables.
You mentioned it's almost 12 months to the day since he won a St Arnaud Cup. Did you ever think that he would end up here winning, one of the biggest country cups, $400,000 Group 3? His
attitude and his racing manners is probably what held him back so much. So to finally iron that out a little bit, I still think he's got plenty of improvement manners-wise to go. Like you've seen today, he's still got on his toes quite a bit, and there are a few moments there, but yeah, super exciting.
Do you put that as a bit of a feather in your cap as a young trainer in the early stages of her career, what you've been able to do with him?
I do have to pay credit to my partner Paddy. Obviously he rides his work every day. He's done just the most fantastic job with him. He wasn't a horse that you would have said 12 months ago that he would have got out of bed for, but he certainly does now, so full credit to what he's done with him.
Where does this rate in terms of your thrills in racing?
Oh, huge. Just to see how far he's come as a horse. He was my very, very first horse when I got my trainer's licence. Glenn and Jane Davies, they sent him to me, so to be able to reward them is massive. Just quickly before we have a chat to your jockey, what do you do with him now? Well, the Ballarat Cup was on the cards. We'll just get him home and assess. We had the option to throw a nom in for a McKinnon there. It's 10 days away. Might come around a little bit soon. He does like his run spaced a little bit, but he's bouncing through his runs quite well. We'll just get him home, assess, and see where we go from there. That's tomorrow's problem. Go and enjoy this one. Well done. Thank you. Cheers.
Matty Raymond, their winning trainer, winning jockey Harry Coffey. Well, he's come back to scale, he's weighed in, he's made it all official, and he's going to jump in front of the microphone and have a chat to us. Now, he's not a Bendigo local, but I reckon plenty of the racing community here probably feel like he's a local. Harry, congratulations.
Thanks, James. That's awesome. I'm actually a bit physically buggered because he's not an easy ride, and I will admit I didn't get him to relax very well at all. He was really running on me the whole race, and I was lucky that there was sort of a strong tempo following Linda, and then when Michael got caught wide, he sort of put a bit more pressure on, and I was lucky that happened because if Michael didn't do that, Linda probably would have gave her horse a bit of a rest in front, and we would have just overdid it, and what did we do? We only win by an inch, so it's amazing how the game works, but things fell into place, and I must admit, I didn't think I'd won, and as I said, I was pretty physically buggered, and I just thought, oh, well, at least I rode it good. And Jai goes, well done, bud. I said, gee, you're confident. Buggy, you'll probably beat me, especially with the way Jai McNeil's luck's been lately. But awesome to get a Bendigo Cup. It's one of my favourite races. Spent a lot of time in Bendigo, do a lot of work down this way, and when you live in Swan Hill, you're driving through Bendigo a fair bloody bit, so I know the town well, but it's awesome, and I'd just like to thank Matty and the connections for the ride as well. A lot of riders in the jockeys room at the moment, but they gave me a spin, and it's awesome to get the result.
Well, you mentioned that close finish. You've beaten Jai in a photo, and he's had plenty of success, so I reckon he would have been happy to let you have this one.
That's right, yeah. He's a hungry man, Jai, but I could actually tell when he said well done that he was happy for me, and I thought, he wouldn't do that to his best mate, say well done and then beat me in a photo, so I must have won. And the way Jai rides and the way things work out for Jai, it's all in slow motion, so I thought he would have got the photo finish right.
You're a Group 1 jockey. This is not quite a Group 1, but I reckon given as you said, your connection to the local community and I guess the connection with Matty, you take great satisfaction out of this.
Well, it's awesome. Had a lot to do with Matty, both with our time at Darren Weir's, and Darren probably set both our careers off in the right direction and both got us a go, and Darren trained for the owners of Wentwood, and now we're sharing this success, unfortunately without Darren, but me and Matty would both not shy away from saying we're here today because of what he did for us. So we come from very similar backgrounds, painted with the same brush, and as you can tell, he's not the easiest of rides, so where you learn all your skills for is where you've got to be thankful. But for me, Bendigo, it's like a second home. I've got family here. Me and my fiancée Taylor lived here for a while when the travel got a little bit tough for me. We got a bit homesick, so we're back home now, but I wouldn't change a thing, and Bendigo's been very good to me.
Well, 2 wins on this horse now, including a Group 3. I reckon Frosty might be happy to let you keep the sit next time, mate. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, James, and yeah, I better send Frosty a shout-out for hitting Colette too many times. I got a spin, so no, he's a good man, Frosty, and we share the same manager, so that's how we're so involved in Wentwood, and a team effort.
Superstar, mate. Go enjoy it.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, he's an absolute star, isn't he, Harry Coffey? Who can forget his victory aboard Suppressor in the Oaks over in South Australia only a few years ago. Let's go back and have a look at the start, though. Have a look at the barrier marked 11. That's a maid. Wow. And you can see there he's missed a start hopelessly again. We're just going to go back and have a look again for those that missed it.
How frustrating for Connections, honestly. Just stood there. I mean, as Rick said in the call, I mean, it's been a huge run. He's been beaten about 3.5 lengths. So I'm not sure the exact margin, but, you know, he's missed it by... What's he missed it by, Nick? 20?
20, Rick said, so I'll go with Rick's thing.
Yeah, I reckon he's right. I reckon he's missed it about 20, and you can't do that. I mean, even if he gets up to run third today and they get a runner in it, you know, you go to the big race anyway and thinking, we can't afford to be missing it there. So, look, I dare say the stewards will be able to look at it anyway because he can't afford to continue to do that in races. Yeah. It's giving himself no hope. But, look, he was nicely positioned for Harry Coffey in the run Wentwood on the back of that great run second up. And this was a tricky part. You can see he's got a lot of horse, but he needs an out and a turn. And with that little bit of pressure early race, was just being felt for by Linda. So the question Nick was turning in is Wentwood going to get the gap? And, well, he just bided his time, Harry, and then fortunately kept the horse in a really smooth rhythm. And now the run presents, and he's got a bit to offer.
Yeah, he certainly does. He knows every blade of grass on this track. Does Harry Coffey, and he was too good. Wentwood, third up from a spell. He's put in 2 good runs in his preparation. Smokin' Romans was gallant in defeat. Another good performance from him as well this afternoon. And made, of course, the unlucky runner of the race.
Yeah, well done to Matty Raymond. Fantastic job with the horse. Smokin' Romans gallant in defeat, but great story with Harry Coffey. Speaks so well And that interview post-race with JT was awesome. Hope you enjoyed it at home. We enjoyed it here, and we've still got more to come at Bendigo after this break.
This is the Bet365 Odds Drift Protector. For example, if you place a fixed win bet before